Under the flicker of cafe lights and the haunting echoes of the past, Emmerdale delivered one of its most shocking twists yet, a revelation that rewrites everything we thought we knew about Robert Sugden's prison years. Moments before dawn, Kev Townsend, the man Robert once called his savior behind bars, stared across the room, his trembling hands betraying the calm mask he'd worn for years. His secret was about to explode. Because the man who had stabbed himself to win Robert's pity had also been living a lie. He wasn't dying. And worse, the barmaid fling he once dismissed as a crazy one-nighter in Leeds had produced a son that would shake the Dingle and Barton families to their core. But the night didn't begin with confessions, it began with betrayal. In the flashback, prison alarms screamed as blood spread across the cell floor, Robert shouting Kev's name, believing Jez had struck again. Only now, years later, does he realize the horrifying truth: Kev had stabbed himself, crafting a tragedy to chain Robert to him forever. As Aaron and Victoria listened in stunned silence, Robert's voice broke. He saved my life. But he also destroyed it. And outside, in the cold light of the cafe, Liam Kavanagh was the only one who knew the full story. Kev's illness was fake, his lies ran deep, and his secret son was none other than Lewis Barton, the boy who would soon bring Emmerdale to its knees. A love born in darkness, a lie that festered in guilt, and a confrontation that's about to turn deadly. Tonight, Emmerdale uncovers the truth about Kev Townsend, and nothing will ever be the same again. Emmerdale has uncovered two big secrets about Robert Sugden's prison husband Kev in new scenes. In an emotional flashback episode tonight, Robert opened up about his prison years in a chat with his sister Victoria and his partner Aaron Dingle. Kev was introduced as Robert's curt cellmate. Despite his brusque ways, Kev noticed the pictures of Robert and Aaron on their wedding day and told Robert he would be safe with him. In heartbreaking scenes, Robert was beaten up by another inmate, Jez, who had ripped up his and Aaron's photos. Kev rushed to Robert's side to help him and vowed to protect him. After taking revenge on Jez for what he did to Robert, Kev landed in solitary confinement for a month. "How can I repay you?" Robert asked him, to which Kev replied, "You don't have to. You're the only person in here I don't want to kill." Back in the present day, Robert told Victoria and Aaron that Kev had saved life, and they became more comfortable with each other after he took on Jez. Liam Kavanagh spoke with Kev at the cafe as the GP tried to convince the ex-inmate to come clean to Robert about his health. Kev, however, was determined to keep up the pretense he was about to die so he could keep Robert close. In the flashback sequence, it was revealed that Kev stabbed himself after learning that Robert had decided to appeal his sentence. Contrary to what Robert had always thought, it was not Jez who had stabbed Kev. "Oh God, this is my fault," Robert said in the flashback, agreeing to marry Kev as he felt guilty. "After that, I always felt like I owed him," Robert told Aaron and Victoria. The episode included a surprise appearance from Faith Dingle. She pleaded with Robert to come back home and start his appeal so he could be with Aaron. "Get him back and hold him tight, because love like that should never go to waste," Faith told Robert during a visit in prison. As Kev made it hard on Robert for wanting to go ahead with the appeal, he lied about Victoria having a brain tumor. "I hate that I've lied to him, I really do. But Kev's done so much for me, I didn't want to hurt him by telling him about you," Robert told Aaron. At the cafe, Liam quizzed Kev about his plan once Robert found out he wasn't terminal. When Kev suggested Liam could lie, he added that he lied about not having a son all the time. As Kev's second secret was out, fans were left to draw the connection between his crazy one-nighter with a barmaid in Leeds and his secret son, revealed to be none other than Lewis Barton. "Trust him, I've done him a favor," Kev told Liam about not ever reaching out to his son. As Robert and Aaron agreed to remain in contact with Kev now he's about to die, he discovered Robert had also lied to him. When Kev mentioned Victoria's brain tumor, Liam's face left nothing to the imagination. "Why would he lie to me about something like that?" Kev asked as a confrontation with his prison husband was on the horizon. The installment itself primarily focused on Robert Sugden's time at Hutton Prison, where he met Kev. Alongside this, Kev was speaking to Liam Kavanagh in the cafe, who knows the criminal isn't terminally ill. During the pandemic, Robert was sent to Hutton Prison and became Kev's new cellmate. At first, they didn't get on, but they then became mates and eventually secret lovers. Robert was sentenced after attacking the man who raped his sister Victoria Sugden. For ages, Robert believed that he killed Lee, but then new evidence came to light that had the potential to change everything. His brother Luke revealed that he had also attacked Lee, just before Robert did. This ultimately gave Robert the opportunity to begin an appeal, and he was overjoyed at the thought of potentially being released. While Robert was happy, Kev wasn't. His possessive streak was highlighted as Kev stabbed himself in the stomach. After this, Robert was focused on Kev getting better, and didn't really think much about the appeal. His priorities changed again after a visit from Faith Dingle, who urged Robert to go through with the case and get back to Aaron Dingle. At the time, Aaron was struggling to process a number of traumatic events that had occurred in his life. Faith knew that he needed Robert, and begged him to go ahead with it. Robert was still in love with Aaron, and decided to listen to Faith. His appeal was a success, but as word got round that he was being released, he failed to tell Kev the exact reason why. Robert told Kev that Vic has a brain tumor and he needed to go and see her. His paranoia about Robert leaving him subsided and he gave his partner a hug, being totally understanding. As we got to know Kev a bit better and understand how he truly feels about Robert, he was continuing to chat to Liam in the cafe. The local GP was struggling to understand how Kev intends to keep up the facade that he's dying, but it didn't seem to bother him. He says he lies all the time, and often lies about having a child. Kev told Liam that he had a one-night stand with someone, who then put the baby up for adoption. In this moment though, Kev revealed that the lady's name was Emma. And who was pottering about in the cafe in the background? Louis Barton, who told brother Ross Barton that he was put up for adoption when he was a baby during their very first meeting. Louis and Liam's paths rarely cross, which means he doesn't know about his past. Given the fact Louis and Kev also live very different lives, is there any chance of them finding out about each other? Just before the episode ended, Liam and Kev were discussing Vic's apparent brain tumor. Liam was expressive in his facial reaction during this moment though, which made Kev suspicious. Liam didn't confirm it, but he did more than enough for Kev to work out that Robert had lied to him. The screen opens with the soulless clamor of the prison corridor, fluorescent lights flickering overhead, casting jagged shadows on the cold gray walls. Robert Sugden sits alone in his cell, hands clutching his head, eyes skimming over the faded photographs of him and Erin on their wedding day. The camera lingers, capturing every trembling movement of his fingers, every subtle shift in his gaze. And then, as if piercing through the walls of time, Faith Dingle appears. No longer alive, not fully present, yet unmistakably Faith. Her presence, she smiles gently, a warm and knowing smile. Robert, listen to your heart. Don't let this prison sentence steal the love you deserve. You need to fight for Erin, for yourself. Her words echo in the air, a haunting, almost melodious reverberation that fills the cell. In that moment, the audience feels the weight of Robert's guilt, his yearning, and his fear all compressed into him. Flashbacks begin to weave into the present. The scene shifts to Kev Townsend, Robert's brother. Back in the present, Robert recounts these events to Victoria and Erin in an intimate, almost confessional tone. He saved my life. But I always felt I owed him, Robert admits, his voice almost a whisper. Each word hangs in the air like smoke, heavy and stifling. The camera pans to Erin's hand, gripping Robert's, grounding him in the fragile reality of love outside the prison walls. Meanwhile, Kev is scheming. In the cafe, Dr. Liam Kavanagh cautiously approaches, probing about Kev's health and the intricate charade he's maintaining. Kev's expression is unreadable, a calm mask hiding layers of deceit. You can lie, as I lied about not having a son, he tells Liam. The truth is revealed. Kev's secret son is none other than Louis Barton, a shocking twist that redefines everything viewers thought they knew about him. Back in Robert's cell, Faith's voice softly echoes through the memory-laden corridors. She urges him to appeal his sentence, to take the risk of reuniting with Erin. Bring him back and hold him tight, Robert, she says, her ghostly presence amplifying the weight of the decision. The audience holds their breath, witnessing the clash between past regrets and future possibilities, caught in the tension between hope and the ever-present danger of Kev's secrets. A sudden cut brings the story back to the present. Robert, after hastily planning, tells Kev he must leave early because, the screen shifts to the bleak, echoing corridors of the prison gym. Robert walks silently across the worn linoleum floor, eyes flicking toward the heavy steel doors, every metallic clang making him flinch. Kev lurks there, shadowed, both terrifying and alluring. Memories of the day he protected Robert from Jez resurface like a ghost. Kev's bruised hands, scratched knuckles, eyes stinging. Never do that to me again, Kev growls, his voice deep and threatening, as he sees Robert collapsed on the floor, his prison shirt stained with blood. In that moment, the audience senses Kev's complexity, both brutal and loyal, dangerous yet undeniably human. Back in the present, Robert sips black coffee in the quiet of the cafe, steam curling around his face like a fragile shield. He glances at Kev across the table. Kev's eyes are sharp, calculating, yet reveal a trace of vulnerability. Robert recognizes the weakness of a man who has built his entire identity around control, illusions of death, and secrets untouchable by anyone else. The audience feels the storm rising, every word Robert utters is carefully measured, every glance laden with meaning. As the sun sets behind Emmerdale's rolling hills, casting long shadows across the village, the camera lingers on Robert standing outside the cafe, staring down the empty street. Kev's secrets, Faith's haunting guidance, and the fragile threads of love and loyalty all collide, leaving scars, both visible and invisible. The village is starkly reminded, in the most dramatic way, that choices. Faith's ghostly image appears one final time, radiant and serene, a gentle smile on her lips. Love sincerely, live fully, and never let fear rule your heart, she whispers, her words dissolving into the evening breeze. A lesson carried by both Robert and the audience: courage, compassion, and truth may be chaotic and complex, but they remain the pillars of. Robert exhales slowly, the weight of guilt and deception still pressing down, yet a glimmer of hope in his eyes. He has learned that love cannot survive under the shadow of lies, that loyalty demands sacrifice, and even in the darkest places, prison, betrayal, and secrets, moments of clarity and humanity can shine like a lighthouse. Kev may have protected, manipulated, and tested him, but now Robert understands that true strength comes from honesty and confronting one's own fears. In the final wide shot, the camera sweeps across the village, golden sunlight of the setting sun washing over. Robert walked slowly down the empty street, each step echoing in the silent air of the approaching evening. In his mind, the image of Aaron, his gentle yet anxious face, shone like a guiding light. Every step was a decision. Did he have the courage to face Kev, to confront the secrets left unspoken, and to fight for the love he cherished? Suddenly, Kev's silhouette appeared at the end of the street, once again flickering in the shadows, his eyes sharp like blades, yet betraying a flicker of emotion he could not hide. "Robert." His voice was deep and warm, both threatening and puzzling. "We're not finished yet." Kev's appearance made Robert wince, fear and tension coiling inside him, but he reminded himself, everything now depended on honesty and courage. At the same moment, Aaron appeared across the street, his steps hurried but his eyes full of determination. When they saw each other, a heavy silence fell. No words were spoken for a few seconds, only their gazes met, brimming with love, worry, and the fear of what was to come. A silent confrontation began. Kev stepped closer to Robert, but this time, not to threaten, but to test. Robert took a deep breath, feeling his heartbeat, reminding himself that he was no longer passive. "I'm not afraid anymore," Robert said, his voice steady, eyes locked on Kev. "Love and truth will guide me. You can try to control, but I will not give up what matters." Kev paused, a cryptic smile fleeting across his face, then his gaze softened for a rare moment. No one left, but the tension in the air signaled that the battle ahead between secrets, lies, and love was only just beginning. The camera pulled back, capturing the empty street, the sunset casting golden light on the rooftops, while darkness crept in, foreshadowing Kev's secrets, Robert's choices, and the return of past ghosts, all intertwining, clashing, and changing everything. The audience held their breath, waiting for the day when every secret would be revealed, every decision tested, and love, loyalty, and courage weighed in the ultimate balance. Robert, Aaron, and Kev finally faced each other under the vivid yet ominous sunset, the empty street transformed into a silent arena of unspoken emotions and secrets. Aaron stepped closer to Robert, gripping his hand as if lending strength. "We'll get through this," Aaron said, his voice both reassuring and resolute. Robert nodded, feeling the warmth and trust from the one he loved most. Kev stepped forward, each footstep echoing power and danger. "Do you think it's that simple?" Kev smirked, eyes flashing with cold intelligence and a hint of pain. "Everything I hide isn't easily revealed." Yet, in that moment, Kev's eyes softened slightly as he looked at Robert and Aaron, hinting that he was not just a villain or manipulator but a complex human being who had loved in his own way, however cruelly. Robert moved forward, voice firm but not angry. "We can choose differently, Kev. Love, truth, and loyalty, that's what's worth keeping. You can continue to hide, but you cannot control us forever." Each word struck the space, shaking the empty street. Aaron stood beside him, gaze unwavering. "We won't give up. None of us will bow to secrets or fear anymore." His words rang strong, both a challenge and a promise. Kev was silent for a few seconds, his face shifting from threatening to contemplative, then slowly nodded. This unspoken acknowledgement marked a turning point. Secrets would gradually be revealed, betrayals confronted, and the path to love and freedom would demand a price. The camera pulled back, capturing the full scene: three people standing in the empty street, sunset casting long shadows across the pavement, golden light mixing with encroaching darkness. The audience felt the weight of each choice, the tension, and the faint glimmer of hope. Emmerdale, as always, reminded that in love, family, and secrets, every action carries consequences, and courage is the only guide through the storm. The scene ended on Robert's determined yet emotional gaze. A deep breath, yet the sunset's light illuminated his face, signaling that despite everything, love, truth, and loyalty could still shine, even in the darkest shadows. Robert and Aaron retreated into a small alley, the sunset hidden behind old buildings. Robert leaned down, breath ragged but determined. "We cannot let Kev control everything. We have to find the truth, and this time, I will not back down." Aaron gripped Robert's hand, eyes resolute. "I'll be with you till the end. We'll do this together." The sense of safety and determination from Aaron made Robert stronger, like a beam of light dispelling the darkness surrounding them. The camera shifted to flashbacks, days when Robert was in prison, Kev protecting him from Jez, bruised hands, tense eyes, yet showing loyalty and protection. These memories intertwined with the present, emphasizing the complexity of the relationship between the two brothers, dangerous, connected, and full of contradictions. Back in the present, Robert and Aaron approached an old cafe, a place they knew Kev wanted to observe. They stepped inside, eyes scanning, and immediately, Kev appeared behind the counter, his gaze cold. "Back again," Kev said, voice low, half threatening, half curious. "Do you think you understand me?" Robert took a deep breath, no longer afraid. "We don't need to understand. We just need the truth. And this time, no trick can deceive us." Aaron stepped forward, eyes challenging. "If you think you can manipulate us again, you're wrong. We will face every secret, every lie, to protect our love and our lives." A moment of silence fell, the whole cafe seemed to hold its breath. Then Kev's lips curved in a mysterious smile, not entirely cold. "Very well. Let's see who will win," he said, stepping closer, each footstep echoing power and challenge. The camera pulled back, capturing the full scene, Robert and Aaron standing close together, facing Kev, sunlight filtering through the window, long shadows stretching across the tiled floor. Tension, danger, but also determination and trust. The audience sensed the beginning of a mental, emotional, and strategic battle, a battle where love, truth, and loyalty would be tested to the ultimate limit. The scene ended on Robert and Aaron's resolute eyes, standing side by side, ready to face the challenge, while Kev's looming presence reminded that in Emmerdale, every choice carries profound consequences. The hallway stretched endlessly, the fluorescent lights flickering overhead, casting jagged shadows against the cold gray walls of the prison. Robert Sugden sat alone in his cell, hunched forward, his hands clasped tightly above his head, his eyes glancing at faded photographs of him and Aaron on their wedding day. Each image felt like a fragile thread, holding on to a life he feared he would never get back. The silence weighed heavily on him, almost suffocating, broken only by the distant clang of a metal door somewhere below. And then, she appeared. Faith Dingle. Not alive, not quite tangible, but clearly present, glowing faintly as if lit from within, her voice soft and melodic, echoing in his mind. "Robert. Listen to your heart. Don't let this prison sentence rob you of the love you deserve. You need to fight for Aaron, for yourself." The words echoed through the empty cell, carrying a weight far beyond their gentle tone, filling Robert with both longing and dread. He felt his chest tighten, the weight of guilt and fear weighing him down. Faith's presence was a reminder that even in the darkest corners of his life, memories flooded back without warning. He saw Kev Townsend again, tall and imposing in the prison yard, his shadow stretched across the sun-shining concrete. The first time Kev had approached him, the atmosphere had been somber, lurking danger, the threat of violence just beneath the surface. "You're the only one here I don't want to kill," Kev had said, curt and curt, but there was something Robert hadn't understood at the time, a promise to protect, a loyalty forged in the harshest of circumstances. Now, remembering that moment, Robert felt both relief and fear. That loyalty had come at a price that had not yet been fully repaid. Back in the present, the cafe was strangely quiet. Robert sat across from Kev, the distance between them small but tense, growing. The storm outside was growing more intense, the rain pounding against the cafe windows like a pounding drum, each drop a mirror reflecting the chaos building inside. Robert's heart pounded, every muscle twitching as Kev's eyes bored into him, sharp and unyielding. The air between them was electric, a wire taut with danger and unspeakable truths. Lewis, still cautiously close behind Robert, could feel the tension spreading through the room. Kev's hand hovered near the edge of the table, fingers lightly brushing the metal frame, a subtle but clear signal that he was ready to confront. "It's over," he muttered, his voice low, dangerous, almost growling. "The secrets you've buried, the lies you've fed me. They all came rushing back at once." Robert swallowed, trying to keep his voice calm, though inside he felt like there was a storm brewing. "I did what I had to do, Kev," he said. Kev's eyes narrowed, a dangerous glint in the dim light. He stepped closer, rain dripping from his coat, his movements cautious and menacing. "For us?" he repeated, almost mockingly. "Or for yourself? You always thought you could manipulate, Robert. You've done it all your life. But the truth can't be hidden forever." The cafe was quiet now, save for the light patter of rain on the windows, but the tension remained like a thick fog, refusing to lift. Robert's eyes were still fixed on the wet streets outside, his mind reeling from the revelations that had been made in just a moment. Kev stood rigid beside him, jaw clenched, hands clenched, eyes glancing from Lewis to Robert, searching for some reaction that would tell him how much Robert really knew, how much he had been deceived. Lewis stepped forward cautiously, his voice low but firm. "Kev, whatever you've been through, whatever you've hidden, it's over now. You can't live in the dark." Kev's face darkened, a storm rising in his eyes. "Over?" he roared. "You think this is over? You think that revealing one secret will untangle years of lies, manipulation, and survival? You're naive if you think so. His words cut through the silence like shards of glass, sharp, undeniable, but beneath them, there was something more, a crack in his armor, a hint of weakness. Robert finally looked away from the window, looking Kev straight in the eyes. "I'm not naive, Kev," he said softly, evenly, but still burdened by sleepless nights behind bars. "I know the truth isn't simple. I know you've been through hell. But hiding things, manipulating everyone around you, that stops now. I won't be trapped in lies anymore.